Listen, I'm not saying I'm above anybody or anything like that, because it's like at one point I was boy crazy. Not as crazy as some people, but I had a boy crazy phase. Even now, like, male attention is always cute. That is not my only source of validation. You need to have other sources of validation. You need to love yourself. And like, I know that's something that's common with trans girls, but it's like, you don't have to deal with it. Like, you have a choice to not deal with it. Hey guys, it's Ari the doll. You already know what to call me, and I'm back with a new video. Today's video is gonna be boy crazy trans girl. Let's get right into it. Being boy crazy is when your primary focus in life is male attention. Like, that is your primary focus in life. It's okay to be validated by that attention, but to center your life around it is a whole nother thing. When you prioritize male validation to the point where like you're obsessed with it, that's where it becomes a problem. And this can show up in many ways in your life, where it's like you neglect certain aspects of your life for the sake of male validation. Some examples of being boy crazy is when the only thing you can talk about is like boys. Like, that's the only thing you can bring to the discussion, where you prioritize male companionship over friends, where it's like you might have plans with friends, or you might be doing something for a friend and you put it to the side for the sake of a man. Don't do that. Like, do not do that. If you're boy crazy, you'll usually romanticize like any kind of guy that comes into your life, and it's just like not cute. Some people who are boy crazy seek male attention and validation through dating apps, and it's like, because it's like you can constantly be talking to these guys, and it's like, we're gonna go into some examples where it's like specific to trans women. Some trans women might be boy crazy because they might feel validated when they're talking to these guys, or like speaking to these guys makes them feel more womanly, or like what these guys are saying to them helps affirm them in a way. Trans girls who are boy crazy usually get like easily excited from any type of attention from chasers, objectification. Like, as long as it's attention from a man, like, it validates them. Usually trans girls who are boy crazy, and girls in general who are boy crazy, they will usually rush into situations that don't serve them, that don't benefit them, and have the chance to leave them traumatized or heartbroken. Trans girls who are boy crazy are the most vulnerable to chasers. Now, some of the reasons for being boy crazy are, like I said, when you're talking to these guys, you feel more womanly, or what these guys say to you, or just being in the position of talking to these guys makes you feel more feminine. And so because you feel more feminine and affirmed, you keep chasing that feeling, even though it's like male attention is not consistent. When you base your whole worth on that type of attention, you will not feel fulfilled. For some trans girls, they might not be used to having male attention because they start their transition and they start wearing certain things or doing certain things, and they get excited, and that excitement turns into like obsession, where it's like they feel like they need that attention to validate their feminine existence. Because they got so obsessed with that attention, they feel like without it, like, they're not women. Sometimes trans girls are boy crazy because it's like they're isolated and they have a void, or it's like they feel lonely. If you feel like you're empty or like you're lonely, build a life for yourself. Like, you cannot go chasing these men thinking it's gonna fill something within you. Get some hobbies, start some goals, go outside and go achieve stuff. If you're seeking this attention because you're lonely, it's because you're not busy enough. Go do stuff for yourself. Like, I'm sure there's stuff you can do. And like I said, there's the girls that will base their worth on male attention because beauty standards and social pressures, where it's like A lot of women feel like their worth is tied to their beauty and their perception from men, and it's like that causes boy crazy, because it's like if you don't feel like you have any worth outside of a man, it's like if you feel like you have no worth outside of men, that is a whole nother problem. You need to love yourself. Another reason why trans women might be boy crazy, it's because they feel like they're playing catch up with cisgender women, and it's like they feel like because they didn't have that attention growing up, they need to play catch up. And it's like, you don't need to play catch up. Like, a lot of the cisgendered women will say their experiences from when they were younger, they regret it. That attention will come as you grow into yourselves, just like those women did. Like, you do not need to play catch up. It will all come. This leads into our next point, which is what's good attention and what's bad attention. Because it's like, when you're boy crazy, you don't really have the discernment to really filter out what's not good for you and what is good for you. What you'll come to find is a lot of these guys that approach women in general are not good for you. So when you're boy crazy, it's even worse, because it's like you're just talking to anybody. Let's start off with intentions and respect. How does he speak to you? What are his intentions with you? Like, does he want to get to know you? Does he want to understand you? Or does he objectify you? Does he speak to you properly, or does he speak to you in a sexual tone? Like, these are things you need to, like, it sounds like common sense, but when you're in the situation, it's like you need to look at how these people speak to you. Consistency in communication. Does he only text you at the late times, or does he only want to see you when it's convenient for him? Does he respect your boundaries? Like, if there are certain details you don't want to talk about with regards to your transition, does he respect that and leave it alone? Or does he keep pushing? Are there things that you don't want to do that he respects, or does he keep pushing? These are things you need to be able to discern. When you're getting complimented, are there compliments focused on being trans, or like, are they superficial, shallow compliments, or are they like genuine compliments? And I feel like you within yourself can know when a compliment is shallow versus when it's not. Is he intentional about your well-being? Does your emotional state matter to him? Like, does he give a fuck about you in basic terms? If you're not having a good day, does he care? A lot of these guys don't care. Some of them might even go as far to pretend they care, but like, a lot of them do not care. Does he ask about your day? Does he care about if you ate? Basic stuff. It might sound little, but like, these things matter. Does he have an actual interest in you? As in hobbies, interests, you know, what you have going on? Or does he only see you for your physical appearance and what you can do for him sexually? Does he treat you different in public versus private? Is he secretive? And like, I know that's something that's common with trans girls, but it's like, you don't have to deal with it. Like, you have a choice to not deal with it. Listen, I'm not saying I'm above anybody or anything like that, because it's like, at one point I was boy crazy. Not as crazy as some people, but I had a boy crazy phase. But also, even now, like, male attention is always cute, like, but that is not my only source of validation. You need to have other sources of validation, and you need to love yourself. If you prioritize male validation, you are setting yourself up for heartbreak and traumatizing experiences. That cannot be your only source of like validation. It's just not consistent, and it doesn't come from within. You can't depend on validation externally. Like, you need to have stuff going for yourself, and you need to be confident in yourself. you need to love yourself. You need to be patient enough and respect yourself enough to wait for someone who can honor your needs and your desires and values. Not just you meeting their needs, but them meeting yours as well. Everybody should respect themselves. And this is not to say go celibate and not have fun. This is to say make time for people who value you and who respect you and who make sense for you. You need to have a good life before you get into a relationship. And this is not me saying your life has to be perfect, but relationships are supposed to enhance your life. You shouldn't be depending on a relationship to make your life feel better. Like I said, love yourself, have a life going for yourself, and be content. When you have standards, it's easier to weed people out who don't meet them. Because if these people are not meeting your standards, how are they supposed to make you happy? Why would you lower your standards just to make space for someone in your life? Obviously, y'all are not supposed to be together. Maintain the other connections in your life, friends, family, make sure you are nurturing the other relationships in your life and not only that one relationship. Have goals outside of dating, go to school, focus on your career, focus on your transition. I don't know, get some hobbies, start cooking, do art, start dancing, start traveling. You need to have things that you enjoy doing, and you have to have a life for yourself so that you're content with your own self, so that when you do get involved with anybody, they don't become your world. You have your independent relationships, you have your own stuff going for yourself, and they are another addition, a bonus, not a need. You need to be prioritizing your time around you, not other people. If someone cannot fit into, and this is not to say you need to be you can be cooperative and make time for people, but it's when it's you're centering your entire schedule around someone. You need to have your schedule surrounding around you. Make time for the things you need and want to do. If that person cannot accommodate or fit in the schedule, or you can't meet them halfway, you need to worry about yourself. Prioritize yourself always. In order to break away from being boy crazy, you need to have a balanced life. You need to have your own motion, get your own money, go to school, get in shape, focus on your transition, work on your goals. Have your own things that you need to work towards. Have your friendships, have your relationships with your family, have your own connections and just your own lifestyle. You can look at things from an objective point of view. Whether or not something makes sense, or whether or not you and XYZ would work out or not. That was my video on boy crazy trans girl. I am making a video on self-love as a trans girl. That video is kind of a follow-up to this one, where it's you really need to love yourself, especially as trans women, where you are more vulnerable. Love yourself. But yeah, I didn't mean for this video to be too long, and I'll see you guys soon. The dolls have flying.